Yo! What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. A little late night Wednesday show to break down all of the news and rumors that circulate around this football team. I want to kind of take a look into the future. Look, the season is what the season was, right? Week 18, we're playing but nothing for pride. I would love to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate the Philadelphia Eagles, but I understand what a loss would do for the future of this ball club. So in today's show, we're going to talk about the future of this team. We're going to talk about 10 players that are going to be in the 2024 NFL draft. We're going to roll through Mel Kiper's top 10 rankings and the top 10 guys that I think he would like to see go to the New York Giants. And then we're going to break down all of the Saquon Barkley reports that are coming out, because Barkley spoke to the media today. He was asked about his future with this ball club. And for the first time, I think, throughout the Barkley and Giants kind of back and forth of contract, no contract, franchise tag, no franchise tag, this is the first time that it sounded like Saquon Barkley was discouraged, and Saquon Barkley was unsure of his future and if he was going to remain a Giant, because we've told you time and time again, and he has told us time and time again, that he wants to retire a member of the Giants. Today, though, he didn't seem so sure that that was going to happen. So let me know, what would you do with Saquon Barkley if you were general manager Joe Schoen? Would you re-sign him to a multi-year guaranteed money deal? Would you franchise tag him, or would you tag and trade him? Or would you just let him walk in NFL free agency? Let me know what you think down in the comment section. I'll tell you what I would do coming up in about 10, 15 minutes or so. It's an interesting idea. It's a big situation. Giants are going to have to make an important decision on this. I am very, very excited to see what they are going to do. My guy, Rob Simpy. That is a Giants Now legend right there. Rob Simpy, Happy New Year, my man. Says, well, one, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Really supports the channel. Says, so I'll say we need to extend Saquon Barkley and try and sign JJ and see if we can restructure DJ's deal. That last one is wishful thinking. JJ is in Justin Jefferson. Who do you mean JJ, Rob? Comment down below and let me know. JJ, you need to sign JJ Watt? Yes, Justin Jefferson? Let me know who you're talking about, my man. While my guy Rob Simpy lets me know, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Factor. Go to factormeals.com/GiantsChat50. Use that promo code GiantsChat50 and Factor will hook you up with a 50% off. Look, the new year is here, and now is the time to get yourself in line to be prepared for this upcoming year. And there's no better place to do that than with Factor. If you live a busy lifestyle like I do, you don't like going to the grocery store, you've tried the whole meal prepping thing, and it hasn't worked out, give Factor a try. That's factormeals.com/GiantsChat50, promo code GiantsChat50, dietitian approved, chef prepared meals, fresh, never frozen, only takes 2 minutes to heat up in the microwave. Get hooked up with Factor. And while you're eating your Factor and you want to make some money potentially on daily fantasy sports, do it with our proud sponsor, Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS, and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply just choose more or less on their projected stat line. College football, college basketball, NBA, NFL, and so much more. Play daily fantasy sports with our proud sponsor, Prize Picks, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Rob sends McCarthy. So draft J.J. McCarthy and re-sign Saquon Barkley. I know producer Patrick Seaman is a big fan of J.J. McCarthy. For me, though, I can't take J.J. in the first round. I think when you just talk about talent and need, his talent doesn't meet the need that the Giants have at that quarterback position for round one. There's other guys that I would want to go out and get there. You guys know I love Drake May. I love Caleb Williams. Jane Daniels and Michael Penix are 3A and 3B for me. And then I have McCarthy at 5. He would be my 5th QB in this class, but I'm not ready to take him any earlier than what the Giants have with their first, second-round pick. We're going to get to a mailbag in about 30, 45 minutes or so, and we need your help to get it done. If you want to get your questions up on the show today, use hashtag Giants or Super Chat. All Super Chats will skip the line, and you'll go to the top of our Q&A. So hashtag Giants or Super Chat. I need some of the real ones to come through. We got 146 people watching. Get your questions in. Hashtag Giants or Super Chat. And while you're at it, please hit that thumbs up icon. My boss just looked in here and said you have 26 likes on today's live show. We might have to shut this down if we don't get to at least 69 likes because that is very nice. Hit the thumbs up icon. Stop being a weirdo. And let's dive into it. Saquon Barkley spoke to the media this week about his future with the New York Football Giants. And for the first time, it sounded like he was unsure about what was going to happen coming down the line for him. So I want to ask you to answer this question as if you were Joe Schoen, the general manager of the G-Men. What would you do with Saquon this offseason? Would you re-sign him to a multi-year deal? Would you franchise tag him, or would you trade him? Let me know what you think down below. Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for taking time out of their busy schedules to hang out with us for a couple of minutes as we get you guys caught up on everything surrounding the New York Giants. Look, here we go again. Been here, done that. We did this whole song and dance less than 10 months ago with Saquon Barkley and his future with the New York Giants. They took it up to the very last day last year and didn't get a deal done. And then he reported to training, and then he reported and he played, and everything was good and dandy. Not so sure that's going to happen this year. Saquon spoke to the media on Wednesday, and I feel like he seemed unsure about his future with the Giants. Let's go straight to the quotes. Saquon said, "I've mentioned before that I wanted to be a Giant for life. That was a goal of mine when I got drafted. I wanted to leave a legacy here, but it's out of my control. I truly have no say. It's really up to those guys upstairs, to general manager Joe Schoen and all those guys. I just want something that's fair and that makes sense. I think I was open and honest about that last year, and I still stick by that. But like I said, I get it's a business. And if it's not here, hopefully it's some other place. Hopefully it's some other place." Haven't really heard him talk like that before. Look, Saquon is the ultimate professional. There's not many guys that could go through what he's gone through in these last 12, 14, 16 months when it comes to his contract and handle it in the professional and honestly perfect way that a player could. But Saquon Barkley is still a human, just like me and just like you. And imagine if you went into your boss's office at work and you told him, "I want a raise," and you deserved that raise. You were in line for that raise. You did everything they asked for you to do to get that raise. And they say, "We don't really value you like that. We don't think you're worth that money. We don't think investing and committing to you like that makes the most sense for our business." I know I'd be pissed off, and I wouldn't want to work here anymore, and I know that is exactly how you would feel. And I'm sure Saquon Barkley feels a little bit of that, but he understands it's the National Football League, and it's a different beast. But I'll say this for me. I'm not sure I'm ready for Saquon Barkley to not be a member of this football team. I'm not sure I'm ready to see Saquon Barkley go play for another football team. But what's best for this organization? We're going to try to figure that out in today's video and talk through it. Another quote from Saquon. Obviously, that's a possibility. That's what he said when he talked about playing somewhere else. Obviously, that's a possibility. A lot of that's out of my control. So for me, I kind of just try to keep the main thing the main thing. Like I said, the biggest thing in this locker room. And this team is going to be completely different next year. So cherish the moments and go out there and try to go off on a high note. They've got to do what's best for the team and whatever they feel is best for us, for the team. Then they're going to make the decision. But me sitting here saying, I want to be a Giant for life like I did last year, it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt. So I'll just leave that up to those guys. I do actually feel bad for Saquon Barkley. He has been the perfect pro. Has he had his ups and downs as a player? Yeah. It's the life of a running back, though, in the football season of 2023 and 2024. You don't pay running backs long-term deals. It hasn't worked out. The only team that it has worked out for is the San Francisco 49ers. And that's because they're paying their quarterback dollars. Like literally just a couple of dollars in Brock Purdy as he was selected in the last pick of the NFL draft. It stinks. I feel bad for him. He's been great for us. I don't know if he's going to be here next year. We're going to find out. What should the Giants do with Barkley? I'm going to give you my full opinion on if I was the general manager of this football team, what I would do with the New York Giants star running back and Saquon Barkley in just a second. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Factor. Go to factormeals.com/GiantsChat50. Use the promo code GiantsChat50, and Factor will hook you up with 50% off. If you've tried the meal prepping thing, if you've tried the whole grocery store cook clean every single night and it hasn't worked out for you and you're looking for your next way to take meals into your own hands and be productive and efficient, do it with Factor. Factormeals.com/GiantsChat50. The food tastes awesome. It's also healthy for you. You can get low-calorie meals. You can get high-protein meals. You can get vegan, veggie meals, and so much more. I love the smoothies that they have. I love the protein shakes that they have. And I love that you get to pick your pre-made meals, which are prepped and cooked to perfection, fresh, never frozen. Heat them up, 2 minutes, eat them, and enjoy them. I promise you guys will love this stuff. I know I do. Seeps does as well. Factormeals.com/GiantsChat50. That information is clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. All righty, let's just talk about it. Saquon Barkley is a great running back. Saquon Barkley is one of my favorite players for the New York Giants. I've got his jersey in the changing studio here at Chat Sports. Paid $250 for it. Not one of those cheap jerseys, nice sewn on and everything. We all love Saquon Barkley. All right? We agree. We love Saquon. Now, let's remove the emotion part. Let's remove the attachment that we have to Saquon Barkley. And let's talk football, and let's talk what's best for the New York Football Giants. Because I don't know about you guys, I love the Giants more than I love Saquon Barkley, and I know that may sound a little bit messed up, but it's a fact. I love the Giants. And the fact is, Saquon Barkley will be 27 years old in February. He'll be 27 in week 1 of the 2024 season. And he missed 3 more games this season. So he's getting older. He's getting closer to 30. He once again got hurt last year with a rolled ankle, and he has lost a step. He absolutely has. He is not that same explosive home run threat ability anytime he touches the football. I don't think there was one play this year where he had a touchdown of over 50 yards. And I'm not saying that should just come every night from a running back. That's one of the hardest things to do. But that's why Saquon Barkley was drafted number 2 overall. That's why Saquon Barkley wanted to be paid $14, $15, $16 million. And he wasn't nearly as good as he was last year that he was this year. 4 total touchdowns. Now let's compare 2022 and 2023. Played a couple less games this year, so the numbers will be different, but let's go through it. In 2022, he forced 40 missed tackles. This year, he only forced 29 missed tackles. In 2022, he had 32 rushes of more than 10-plus yards. That number's down to 25. In 2022, he had 18 rushes of 15-plus yards. Only 12 rushes this year of more than 15-plus yards. I will say this. The offensive line is horrible. We all know that. So I went and looked up rushing yards over expected, which factors in the offensive line play. Saquon Barkley was still top 15 in the NFL, which means he's still a really good back. As much as I love Saquon Barkley, I don't believe paying a 27-year-old running back that has missed time, and it seems like multiple games every single year except for last year, a long-term deal makes a lot of sense. It just doesn't. It stinks because he may be our best football player on this team. He's our best weapon. He's our best playmaker. But I cannot, as the general manager of the Giants, give him a long-term deal as he gets closer and closer to the age of 30. Why give him a multi-year deal now when you didn't give him one last year? He was younger and he was better last year. What did he do this year that shows you that, okay, if I give him a long-term deal, it's the smart thing to do? Just do the easy thing. Does it stink for Saquon? Yeah. Does it probably leave a bad taste in his mouth? Yeah. Does it piss him off? Sure. But the NFL has granted teams the franchise tag to use. And the way the Giants can keep Saquon Barkley on this team while helping their team the most is franchise tag him. And you know what? This may upset some people. If he plays well next year, franchise tag him again. The Giants did not franchise tag Saquon Barkley this year. They initially did, but then they worked out a 1-year restructured deal. So they still have the opportunity to franchise tag him 2 times. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. And you know what? 3 years of $40 million guaranteed for Saquon Barkley. That seems like a pretty fair deal to me. The Giants have to listen to trade calls on him this year. At least, if you're not going to sign him to a long-term deal, teams are going to call. I don't know what teams are giving you for Barkley at this point, but you at least need to pick up the phone and you need to listen to those trade calls. I know what I said probably made a lot of people mad and makes me seem like a Saquon Barkley hater, and I am the furthest thing from that. So let's show him some love in the comments. Type those 26s. I love the dude. One of my favorite players to ever wear a Giants jersey. I just don't think it's the right thing for this franchise to give him a long-term, a lot of guaranteed money. I just don't think that's the right thing to do. Type 26. Show him some love. As always, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for tuning in to Giants Now by Chat Sports. If you finished the video, it means you might like what you watch. So hit that thumbs up icon and subscribe to the channel. Free, informative, entertaining Giants content every day. Oh, man. Business is not love. Goodbye, Saquon, says Captain and Coke 70. Gilly, Marsha's a Saquon hater confirmed. Exactly. Knew that was coming. I don't understand how you can honestly think that.
Yeah, it's just the right decision. It's just the right decision.
Look, I love Saquon. I'm not giving a 27-year-old running back that misses time every year a long-term guaranteed deal. Call me a Saquon hater if you want. I know what it is. I know how I feel about him. We're going to get into a mailbag coming up in a second. If you haven't yet, get you the man. Thanks, Scoop. If you haven't yet, get your questions in for today's show. Also, Gilly says, what's next? There's nothing next. Saquon Barkley should and will be the running, I don't know about will, should be the running back next year on a franchise tag. It's what's best for this team. But not everyone's going to agree, and that's all good. That's all good. Hashtag Giants or Super Chat to get on the show. We got 200 people watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon. And let's dive into some draft talk, because as much as I know everyone wants to hear about a Giants-Eagles preview for Week 18, which I don't want to talk about and I don't think anyone else wants to listen to, let's talk about something that might actually be some fun, like some draft targets from Mel Kiper. Let's do it. The NFL season is coming to a close for the New York Giants, and here on this channel, we make Giants videos 365 days a year. So just because the season's over, that doesn't mean our content is going to stop. We're actually going to keep it going. And if you want more draft content on this channel, hit that thumbs up icon right now so I know what the real ones want. Welcome into Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Thank you to everybody that stopped by, clicked on this video. We're going to be talking about the NFL Draft in today's show. We're going to break down Mel Kiper Jr.'s top 10 draft targets in round one of the 2024 NFL Draft. Right now, the New York Giants sit at the number 5 pick in the draft, with teams ahead of them with only one win less in the Commanders, Patriots, and the Arizona Cardinals. The Giants can absolutely move up the draft board. ESPN says the Giants have a 6% chance to pick inside the top 3. I think that percentage is wildly low, because if the Commanders, Patriots, and Cardinals win, or if any of them win and the Giants lose, Giants are moving up because they've got an easier strength of schedule. The Patriots this week versus the Jets are favorites. The Cardinals are only 3-point dogs versus the Seahawks. I think we've all seen the Dallas Cowboys lose a couple of meaningful games in January before. Are we in it, or is anyone actually going to be shocked if they lose to the Commanders? I think Commanders winning is the least likely, but I'm actually fairly confident in the Patriots and Cardinals winning. And if those two teams win and the Giants lose, Big Blue will be picking 3 in the draft. So what do the Giants need? What do the Giants have to do to get back to being one of the prestigious franchises in this league? They need a new quarterback. I'm not arguing with anyone. It's just a fact at this point. They need a new quarterback. They got to beef up the O-line. They need wide receivers, but not just wide receivers. They need more playmakers. And on defense, I think they need another cornerback to replace Adoree Jackson to go alongside Deonte Banks. And they need someone that can line up on the opposite side of Kayvon Thibodeau and get after the quarterback. So with these 5 needs, I kind of want to do a little bit of a different swing on today's video. We've talked about quarterbacks. We actually put a whole video out 2 days ago where I ranked my top 5 quarterbacks, and we go into depth with each prospect. These are my quarterback draft ranks. I got Caleb Williams 1. I think he's going to be a stud. I really, really do. I don't care that he cried. Max Duggan cried, and people wanted him to run for president. It's weird how that changes. Drake May, I think, is going to be a really good football player. And I got Michael Penix and Jaden Daniels tied at number 3 for my quarterback rankings as we sit here at the beginning of January. And I got J.J. McCarthy at 5. So we're going to go through 10 college football prospects that don't play quarterback. Maybe the Giants don't draft a quarterback. So let's talk about guys that could be. Well, I think the best non-quarterback in this draft is Marvin Harrison Jr., and Mel Kiper has him ranked as the second best player in this draft. Look, when you talk about creating a wide receiver in a lab to come play in the NFL, it's Marvin Harrison Jr. 6'4", 205 pounds. The production at Ohio State was just nuts. He reminds me of A.J. Green. Tall, a little skinny, but he could take the top off. He could break it down. He could sit it down. He could run multiple routes, and he is going to walk into the NFL, in my opinion, and be a top 20 wide receiver in his first game in the league. At number 5, when it comes to Mel Kiper's draft targets, draft rankings, he has Brock Bowers, tight end, out of Georgia. I know a lot of people are like, Marshall, we're not taking a tight end. We already got Darren Waller. That is an awful way to think. If you are not going to take a tight end in the top 10, which I'm not saying the Giants should. I'm just trying to tell you that's a bad way to think. If you're letting Darren Waller dictate what you're doing in the first round as he sits at 32 and is an injury-plagued player, that's an awful way to run a franchise. Darren Waller in 2024 should not stop you from taking a tight end. And the Giants need more weapons. And Brock Bowers, in my opinion, is the second best weapon in this draft. He changed Georgia's offense once he stepped onto campus as a freshman. I believe he's going to be a stud in this league, and I'm not going to be mad if the New York Giants take him. At number 6, when it comes to Mel Kiper's draft rankings, he had Rome Odunze, the stud wide receiver out of Washington. And if you watch the game against the University of Texas, this guy made big-time play after big-time play after big-time play. And he did it all year long. 87 receptions, 1,500-plus yards, 13 touchdowns. What I love is the size at 6'3" and 215 pounds and the average yards per catch. This guy is a downfield threat. Sure, he catches a couple of screen passes and gets north and south, but 18 yards per catch. Odunze, to me, is Jamar Chase light, but just a little bit bigger. Smooth, silky smooth. Gets it out of his cuts. I was watching the game with producer Steeps, and I was just like, this guy just moves a little bit different. That's what I took away from him. And Mel Kiper, he thinks the same way, having him ranked as the 6th best prospect in this draft. From one wide receiver to another, in a completely different style of players. Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver at LSU. He dominated the SEC all year long. Like Odunze, the numbers are very similar. 86 receptions, 1,500-plus yards, 14 touchdowns, 18 yards per catch. But he's a little bit smaller. And he's more of a slot guy, where Odunze can line up everywhere. Neighbors is more of your get-it-and-go type of guy. Gives me some young Stephon Diggs type of feel to him, but he's more of your yards-after-catch guy. And the Giants kind of already have that. And Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt, who could definitely take the top off, but I do think he can get a little loose with the ball in his hands. I'm not letting those guys stop me from drafting Neighbors. I just like a couple other wide receivers a little bit ahead of him. Let's talk about some guys in the trenches, as we know the Giants have to get better in that area. Olu Fashanu, the standout tackle out of Penn State. This is what Mel Kiper had to say about him after ranking him 8th amongst all prospects. Fashanu had been moving up my big board last fall before he announced in November that he planned to return to school. He could have been a top 10 pick in last year's draft, challenging Paris Johnson Jr. to be the top tackle off the board. In any other class, a class without Williams and Harrison, he might be the easy pick as the number 1 overall prospect. That's what kind of talent he has. Fashanu has the size, footwork, and physical traits teams want in a high-end left tackle. He moves effortlessly and with urgency, getting his hands on second-level defenders with ease. The exciting part, Fashanu is still developing. He has started just 21 career games and just 21 years old in December. If he lives up to his potential, it's not out of the question that he gets an Orlando Pace type grade heading into April's draft. He's a damn good football player. So let's go from one tackle to another. Olu Fashanu ranked 8th. Joe Alt ranked 9th. Let's go to what Mel Kiper has to say about Alt. Alt started 33 games at left tackle for the Fighting Irish. He's another prospect who will skip the bowl game and prep for the draft. And I was most impressed by his technique on a snap-to-snap basis. He rarely gets caught out. He mirrors well in pass protection, adjusting easily to secondary moves from edge rushers. He does a great job keeping his huge frame between the defender and his QB. In his career, he allowed just 16 total pressures and more than 1,000 pass blocking snaps. All's father, John, was a first-round offensive tackle too, going number 21 overall to the Chiefs in 1984. He was 6'7", 275 pounds when he entered the NFL, which shows you how the game has changed since then. So Mel Kiper just gave you an in-depth look at both of these awesome offensive tackle prospects. I want you to decide, who would you rather the Giants pick when it comes to offensive tackle? Is it Olu Fashanu? Is it Joe Alt? I think Fashanu projects more as a left tackle. I know they both only played tackle in college. Giants need a right tackle. And I think that Joe Alt may be better on that side. I'm not going to claim to be some offensive lineman scout guru. I don't know who I want. I think it'd both be home run picks. Let me know who you want. Type the initials of the guy you want to see wearing big blue next year. Coming up around the corner, we've got 5 more players to talk about. But first, I got to tell you guys about our sponsor, Prize Picks. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS, and Prize Picks will match your initial deposit up to $100. How do you play? All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players. The more players you have on your lineup, the more the multiplier is going to be on your payout. And all you do is select more or less on their projected stat line. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. It's the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS. And when you use that promo code at that link and put $100 in your account, they'll match it. They'll give you $100 for free. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. As Laiatu Latu, the edge out of UCLA, comes in at number 10 on Mel Kiper's big board. Look, the Giants need more pass rushers. The Giants need guys that can get after the quarterback. In Laiatu Latu, he can do that. He had 13 sacks this year for UCLA. He comes in at 6'5", 265 pounds. I also like that he had 2 interceptions. I also like that when he gets to the quarterback, he tries to punch that football out. But is he the best edge in this class? Well, he's going to have to outduel Dallas Turner, who Mel Kiper has at 11 at Alabama. To be honest with you, I don't love that right after Alabama lost in the college football semifinal that Dallas Turner announced that he was going, saying, yeah, I'm out of here. I don't love that. Does that make me not want to take him? Absolutely not. I just don't love that right after the game is over, you're like, yeah, I'm out of here, and I'm not doing that. What I will say is I'm cool with Laiatu Latu. I'm cool with Dallas Turner. Let's get back to New York Giants football. When the Giants were at their best, when they were at the top of the league, they had 5 guys up front that can get after the quarterback. You can never have too many edge rushers. And whether it's Laiatu Latu or Dallas Turner, I'm going to be happy if the Giants bring home one of those studs off the edge. Let's go back to offense and talk about a wide receiver. Keon Coleman out of Florida State. When you talk about an outside receiver that you want to take and be your ex for the next 10, 15 years, that's a guy like Keon Coleman. He is your outside wide receiver, prototypical size, 6'4", 215 pounds. Does he need to improve as a route runner? Yeah. Does he need to become more multiple in the ways he beats DBs? Yeah. But at the end of the day, you can't coach size, and it's hard to stop it if you don't have it at the defensive back position. 45 grabs this year, 615 yards, 11 touchdowns. So people compare him to Mike Evans. I don't think he's as good of an athlete as Evans was, but he projects to play that same type of football. Giants don't have a big wide receiver. I'm not taking Coleman inside the top 10. Maybe a trade down, but he is a guy that I am going to keep my eyes on. Last player we're going to talk about on today's video is Nate Wiggins, the physical DB for Clemson. He is ranked number 18 in Mel Kiper's big board. Look, you can never have enough DBs, and especially ones that are talented, versatile, and athletic. And that is exactly what Nate Wiggins is, coming in at 6'2", 185 pounds. He's not afraid to play at the line of scrimmage and press these receivers, bump and run. He's got great makeup speed. He's got the length. And could you imagine a top corner duo for the next 5-10 years of Nate Wiggins and Deonte Banks, 2 blue chip prospects on the outside? Cornerback's not one of the highest need for the Giants. I think Wiggins is going to be a stud, and I don't ever have a problem drafting more corners that can cover. So we'll go through this one more time. Marvin Harrison Jr. comes in at number 2. Brock Bowers at number 5. Rome Odunze at number 6. Malik Neighbors at number 7. Olu Fashanu at 8, with Joe Alt coming in at 9. Laiatu Latu at 10. Dallas Turner at 11. Keon Coleman at 12. and Nate Wiggins, the DB, out of the ACC at number 18. We've talked about 10 players on today's show. It's now your job. Name a player you want the Giants to draft that's not a QB. That's not a QB. Give me a name of a position player that you want to see the Giants select in the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft. Drop their name down in the comment section. If you haven't yet, give me a follow over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. We can continue the conversation about New York Giants football over there. So hit me up, send me a DM, give me a follow, and let's talk ball. Was right. 230 people watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. I know we had a super chat come in. We'll start the mailbag with that. Last call to get your questions in. Kind of speeding through today's show. We got to do the Knicks game here in a little bit. Bosses told us we actually couldn't go live this week on Giants, and I snuck this one in there, so hope you guys appreciate it. One more segment to go. I know it's been rapid fire, and I like to hang out with you guys and just kind of interact more in the chat, but unfortunately, the way the cookie crumbles, not going to be able to do that today. We'll be live again next week, Monday, and then we'll continue to be live Monday every day through the off season. But this is the part where we get to go back and forth. Get your questions in. Get your questions in yet. Nope said bro sneaking streams. He's like, no Giants today. You got to focus on Knicks. I said, we're doing a Giants stream, baby. So subscribe, turn your notifications on, and get your questions. Get your questions in. #Giants or Super Chat to get on this mailbag. Lord Buddy Bear says all the shows are usually off by the time I'm off work. I'm sorry, Buddy Bear. I'm sorry. We're live though. I hope you're off work at this point. It is 6:40. Let's do it. Let's get into this mailbag. Yo! What's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We got a mailbag coming up on today's video where we just answer questions from subscribers. So if we didn't get to your question today, it means you're not subscribed. So change it. Hit that big red sub button. Join us live Monday at around 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and hopefully you'll get on that mailbag. First question coming in from Giants Suck Again. Wow, nice. #Giants. Should the Giants trade for Justin Fields? I feel like we are just getting started talking about what the Giants are going to do at the quarterback position. And while I am not the biggest fan of Justin Fields, I do see the talent. I do understand what he can do on a football field. He's the most electric runner at the quarterback position in the league, and he's getting better and better at being a winner from the pocket. And the Bears are going to have to make a decision, right? They are going to be picking first in this draft due to the trade that they made last year with the Carolina Panthers. And Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is going to be staring them right in the face. Do they draft Justin Fields, or do they trade Justin Fields? Do they draft a guy like Caleb Williams? If they do want to draft Caleb Williams, they're going to have to trade Justin Fields. And Jeremy Fowler of ESPN earlier this week said that the Chicago Bears could be looking to trade Justin Fields and get back a second or third round pick. Giants have 2 second-round picks, their own and the one that they got in that Leonard Williams trade where he went to the Seattle Seahawks. So you do have the draft capital if you want to trade for a guy like Justin Fields. For me, I don't want to do that. I want to go get my own quarterback. I want to restart that QB contract clock. I want to have 5 years of a cost-controlled quarterback with not a lot of money attached to it. And I want Brian Daboll to go out and get his guy. I want Joe Schoen to go out and get his guy. Maybe their guy was already Daniel Jones, and that's why they gave him $82 million. But if I'm Brian Daboll, if you're Brian Daboll, and you thought to yourself, how can I keep the seat that I'm sitting on cool as possible for as long as possible? It's by drafting a rookie quarterback. Because then I just need 1 more year. I need 1 more year. You got to trade for Justin Fields, and it's a disaster next year, you're canned. I mean, if you draft a quarterback and he's a disaster, you're canned as well. But I think it gives you more of a leash to go out and get that quarterback. I think Fields is good. I think he's better than I thought he was going to be after last season. I'm typing my P for pass, though. What do you think? Do you want the Giants to trade for Justin Fields? Type T for trade, type P for pass. Let me know what you think down below. Cam Johnson, my man, what's up, fam? If Saquon doesn't get re-signed, what do you think about drafting Blake Corum in the second or the Wisconsin running back? I'm a big fan of Blake Corum. I do wonder how effective he's going to be in the National Football League. I wonder if he's one of those guys that's just a college running back, but I love the swag he plays with. I love the passion that he carries that rock with. He totes that thing. That last run he had against Bama in overtime to score, man, that was just sheer heart. That was just wanting to get it done. I love the way he loves football. He is a football guy through and through. I don't think he's a lead back in the NFL. Could be wrong. I don't think it's if you don't re-sign Saquon Barkley. You could franchise tag him. Is Saquon Barkley going to sit out next year if you're franchise tag? He's got that option. He's got that card. He could play. But running back is sitting out season age 27 to go be a free agent season in age 28 and pass up on $13 million. I think Saquon's the Giants running back last year unless there's a trade. I don't think you just let him walk. I don't think that happens whatsoever. Giants edits, what up, man? Is Wink here next season? If not, who is his replacement? I've gone back and forth on Wink Martindale. That Saints game really upset me. I thought that was a terrible game plan, and I didn't love what he said after the game. Said there was a report from Pam Oliver during the game that he's telling his defense he doesn't have to just outplay the opposing team's offense. Opposing team's offense. He's got to outplay their defense as well. Pretty much saying our offense is shit and we're only going to win, which is true, but you don't like hearing your coach say those things. There's the report that there was beef between Daboll and Martindale. Overall, I think Wink Martindale is a good defensive coordinator, and I would like to bring him back for the continuity. If he is let go or if he moves on, I'm looking at a guy like Leslie Frazier, who was the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills while Brian Daboll was there. Not one of my top choices, but just connecting the dots, and it's a relationship business, and I'm sure he'll get a look. I don't know who it's going to be. I would like to bring Wink back, but him and Daboll need to squash this shit, man. You're too bad of a football team to have beef like this. It's utterly ridiculous. We'll get to more questions coming up in a second, but first, make sure you are hooked up with our proud daily fantasy sports book of daily fantasy sports app. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS. Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. That's what it is. It's the best daily fantasy sports app in North America. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you just use more or less on their projected stat line. And then when you use the promo code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS, Prize Picks will match your initial deposit up to $100. prizepicks.com/CLNS. NFL, NBA, college football, and so much more. If you want to play daily fantasy sports for the NFL playoffs, do it with Prize Picks. Yardley Moyes, what up, man? Thank you for the super chat. Absolutely move on from Saquon. He's a nice guy, and I met and took a picture with him and drafted QB. That's what sucks. We love Saquon Barkley. He's earned that. He has played good for us for a long time. I love Saquon Barkley. But I don't think the Giants should re-sign him. I think they should franchise tag him. He'll be 27 in February. He missed 3 more games this season, and he's lost a step. I just believe in my heart of hearts in the way that you operate a football team and you build a franchise is you don't pay long-term, guaranteed, high money value contracts to running backs that are 27. If there's been one that works out, let me know. I just don't believe that's the right way to build a football team. I love him. I've got his jersey. I wish him nothing but success. I want him to be here. But only on a franchise tag. Sorry. Just how I feel. Jay Liv, is Penix a solid choice? If they move down, they reportedly have interest. I was kind of talking with some people in the office, and I said that same thing. I said, I don't know if I love Penix at 5, but I think he makes some sense if you trade down. Someone was like, if he's your guy, you take him. And I was like, you're right. If you believe that Michael Penix can be a franchise quarterback, it's a good pick at 5, and it's a good pick at 10. It's a good pick in the second round. I don't believe the whole kind of thing of, well, if you take this guy in the first round, it's a bad pick. But if you take him in the third round, it's a good pick. If he's a good player, he's a good player. You take good players when you're on the clock. And I think Michael Penix is just that. What I saw him do against Texas, albeit they are a terrible, terrible defensive team, most notably in the secondary. As Corinne says, will Penix fall in the draft due to his injury history? That's something to monitor. He had 4 season-ending injuries as he was at Indiana, right? Indiana. Yeah. 2 torn ACLs. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about his medical. But I'm kind of in the same spot with Penix as I was with C.J. Stroud. What I saw C.J. Stroud do against Georgia solidified to me that he's going to be a great quarterback in this league. While Texas is not Georgia on the defensive end, the way I saw him play against Texas, I can't get it out of my brain that this guy's going to be a success. I'm in on Penix. I got him right there with Jaden Daniels. Let's see how he plays against Michigan in the national championship. I'm excited for that. Lord Buddy Bear, $2 super chat. What's up, fam? Are you going QB with your first pick or try to fix the O-line? I wish we had 2 first-round picks. Man, it really depends how the draft board shakes out. Let's say you end up picking 5, right? And the first 4 picks are all quarterbacks. I'm going O-lineman. If Michael Penix's medicals come out and they're bad, and you're picking 5, and Daniels and Williams and May are gone, then you go offensive tackle. I don't know. I think either would be fine. But I'd really like to get a quarterback. That's a lot of fun. Gilly Marsh is a Saquon hater confirmed. Yeah. Okay. What's the play? We're not moving on. We're franchise tagging this year and next year. So, yeah. Come on, Gilly. You're better. As always, just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for subscribing to the channel. If you haven't yet, hit that sub button. Sub for New York Giants dubs. Let's go Big Blue. We'll see you tomorrow. Who knew saying you wanted to have someone here 2 more years for a top 5 and top 3 salary at the position makes you a hater?
Because you're not extending them, man.
Yeah, because I'm not extending it. Earn it!
You just not care what he's done?
I just don't care.
He has a family, you know that, right? How is he going to put food on the table?
I know. He was already one of the top highest earners at the running back position because he was picked 2 overall. And then he got a franchise tag worth $11 million. And he's going to get $13 million this year and then $15 million next year. How on earth can he?
Gilly, that was the only one she called you a hater. I just had to throw that up there.
Oh, way to go, Seeps. See, Gilly, Seeps is trying to put a wedge in our relationship.
I was trying to instigate a little bit.
Apart.
Add a little pizzazz to the mailbag.
There's always haters.
Gilly.
There's always let a naysayer know. Let a naysayer know. Am I allowed to say that? No? All right, we'll cut that out. Gilly, we love you. John Lieberman, everybody. Quick live show today. I apologize. You could blame James Yoder. He said we're not supposed to go live today, but we did anyway, so we snuck it in. Join us on our Knicks channel in about 15, 20 minutes as we're live for Knicks Bulls. That's Seeps' team, and they're going to lose. It'd be fun to watch them cry. We'll see you later. Let's go Knicks. Are we back? I think we're back. The Bronx Boy with a $10 super chat. He got it in. Oh, man. Let's ride. Fix the O-line. Get wide receivers. And see how we're doing. Come on. We can't do that yet. Can we watch the kid play? If the guy's last name was Washington, no one would give a damn about him. But Alt doesn't need the last name. His last name could be Jones, and I would still think he's good. Another Manning in New York would be cool. Can we see him win a couple games? Can we see him not play against D linemen that look like me in high school football? Bronx Boy, you stumped me with this one, my man. Let's wait on Arch Manning. Let's wait. But I agree. Fix the O-line. Get wide receivers. If you don't get a QB, then we'll look at QBs down the line. Also, happy birthday to Eli Manning and David Tyree. Look at the Bronx Boy showing some love there. And also, shout out to Sterling Shepard. It's going to be his last game as a Giant this week. I love Shep, longest tenured Giant. I know I cussed him out last week because he dropped a football, but I still love him. Still love him. All righty, for real this time, we're out of here. Let's go.